Weather leaning in firefighters' favor against the Caldor Fire right now. They are taking advantage of less wind and more humidity, building stronger containment lines along the northern edge of the fire, keeping it away from South Lake Tahoe and all of the homes there. We continue to track the fire overhead with this exclusive view from Live Copter 3. Right now, we are flying over Amador County near River Pine, and you can see how smoky it is here in this area. But again, that's actually a good sign when you think about that means there isn't a strong wind to push all that smoke out. And if there's not a strong wind, that means that's not fanning the flames. And this is actually kind of laying on top of those flames, keeping them smaller and not as hot. So, and look at that straight line, almost like a tabletop on top of that smoke. Another good sign, because we hate to see those huge clouds shooting up and out over that, because that means that the fire would be burning really hot underneath. So we're not seeing any of that right now as we're flying live over Amador County. Great news for firefighters. And today, Cal Fire says crews are working to strengthen their containment lines to control this fire even more. We have some time-lapse video to show you. This is from Alert Wildfire's Bald Mountain camera, showing much slower movement in the smoke from that fire. Again, another great sign. The latest numbers that the fire is now nearly 213,000 acres. Another positive, this is the fourth straight day that the fire declined in growth, which is great news. And their containment has gone up. It's now at 29%. We do know that more than 800 structures have been destroyed. More than 600 of those are homes, and nearly 48,000 people remain evacuated around El Dorado County right now. People in Pollock Pines, north of Highway 50, are the latest to return home. Today, U.S. Forest Service Supervisor Dean Gold had some words of encouragement for those on the front lines these past 2 weeks.
This isn't the end. It's not the beginning of the end, but it's the end of the beginning. Think of the role that you have personally played in all these successes and be extremely proud of what you're doing out here and the difference you're making.
Oh, they're making a big difference. We want to go back out live to Live Copter 3 right now. Again, continuing to fly over Amador County. Live Copter 3 pilot Dan Oppenheim flying for us alongside our photojournalist Mike Domalog. Dan, it's really great to see these clouds, really just the smoke clouds just sitting there, not moving.
That's right. I know it looks intimidating just because all of the smoke, but it's stagnant. It's not moving anywhere. And really what that means is that there's no wind pushing it around.
Yeah, I'll never forget back on August 17th, Dan, how scary it was for me personally to see those smoke clouds moving so fast. It looked like time-lapse video because the wind and the fire was creating its own little weather system inside the smoke. I mean, it was terrifying because that's how fast it was moving. So it's great to just see this stagnant still. And Mike Domalog, our photographer, is giving us a really good view of the sky above, and then just that flat tabletop of smoke laying overhead. What are you seeing on the ground there in Amador County?
It doesn't look like we're really seeing much of, we're not seeing any plumes of smoke. We see no spot fires in sight, and we're over by River Pines, heading over towards Grizzly Flat. So that's an improvement. We're, quite honestly, visibility isn't great, but we're not seeing much activity, at least on the western edge of the fire.
Have you seen many firefighting aircraft this afternoon?
Most of the firefighting aircraft are over towards the eastern edge, over closer to Tahoe and Kirkwood area.
All right, any other observations on this fire today during this noon hour, now that we're more than 2.5 weeks in, almost 3 weeks? It'll be 3 weeks on Saturday, tomorrow.
Well, we're seeing improvement. This fire seems like it's decreasing in size, and containment is improving.
Yeah, it's great news. And this fire started back on August 14th officially and really blew up in size on August 17th. So Nice to see all of that positive news and cautiously optimistic, as Cal Fire mentioned, and I think a lot of people are just starting to breathe a sigh of relief. So hopefully this will continue, especially as temperatures continue to go up through the next several days over the Labor Day weekend. Dan Oppenheim, thank you so much. Mike Domalug, thank you so much. We'll continue to check back in with you. In the meantime, on the ground, we continue our team coverage. We have KCRA 3's Mike Tisella in South Lake Tahoe, and this is what he found this morning.
More positive news coming out, not just new fire statistics, but also the scene here. We're got the State Line casinos behind us, but I want to direct you just across Lake Tahoe Boulevard. That's the Heavenly Ski Resort, and the significance there is you can see no plumes of smoke, a little better visibility, and clearly no signs of fire.
And so again, those more positive signs, meteorologist Melanie Hunter, this is great news today.
Yeah, and also with the satellite view, this gives us another scene of the smoke. And what you see here is you see that smoke that is drifting just past sunrise toward about now. It's drifting off toward the northwest. But in previous days, you might remember you could really see the visible plumes of smoke that were just shooting out of this area. So at least today we are seeing a little bit less of that smoke. More of that smoke is just hanging over the area. We have light wind that is in place down toward the surface, 5-mile-per-hour wind through South Lake Tahoe. And as we advance into the afternoon, we're just not going to see our wind change all that much. Still stays fairly light. We'll have a light breeze as we head into the afternoon, but luckily as we put our wind forecast into motion, you aren't going to see those numbers get all that high as what we were talking about previously when we did have that red flag warning in place. So hopefully with some of the lighter winds that will be in place and a bit more of that smoke that's just hanging down over the area, that could mean that firefighters can gain more ground on the fire. Lisa.
Well, that would be great news. All right, Melanie, thank you so much. Now, despite the progress that has been made against the fire, Highway 50 is still closed in both directions right now through the Sierra. This is because of hazards like this one, this burned out tree which fell across the highway near Strawberry yesterday. And Cal Fire says there's no timeline for when all of those hazardous trees will be spotted and removed and cut up and taken out of there, or when the highway will be reopened. But those are some of those hazards that they talk about that you really can't predict and you can't see until it happens. And as some evacuees return home, just keep in mind the fire is pushing wildlife out. There have been many sightings of bears in the Tahoe area following the evacuations. Our cameras captured these images just last night. California Fish and Wildlife says these animals are fire adapted and they can make it on their own. So do not leave out any food or water for them. If you think an animal is hurt, they want you to call the department. El Dorado County is keeping their Caldor Fire Assistance Center open for a bit longer. Originally, it was supposed to close today, but it's extending through tomorrow. The center is at Folsom Lake Community College's Fitness Center in Placerville. And there you can find officials with the DMV, Department of Tax and Fee, Public Health, and the Department of Housing and Community. There are also people who can help start the process of rebuilding.
Unfortunately, I mean, our community has been hit by wildfire, catastrophic wildfire previously. So we kind of know what's in store. This is obviously on a level that we haven't seen before, but we were aware that this was going to be something that would be necessary.
The Assistance Center is open until 5 p.m. today and then between 10 to 3 tomorrow. This is not at the Folsom Lake College main campus, but again, that's the campus in Placerville. That's the fitness center that they have in Placerville. So don't want you to make an extra trip unnecessarily.